Yeah, so like I was saying, it does signify some strength here in terms of bullishness. Tomorrow we do have, let's see. Okay, so there was nothing tomorrow. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday when there was, yeah. So Wednesday we've got ADP non-farm employment change, ISM services PMI, and jobs openings. So obviously we should have, I think, NFP on Friday, unemployment claims on Thursday, and then Friday is looking like, yes, I see it, unemployment, non-farm employment change, here's it here, and the unemployment rate. So what they're expecting for NFP, you can see here, they are expecting a decline in comparison to the forecast, which should mean sells initially. But yeah, we'll need to see what the ADP comes out as on Wednesday, and then obviously take it from there. So we'll be watching out for these news events during the course of this week. In terms of what we are looking at, US 30 today, I see we've got quite a significant move up here already ahead of time. It started at about 8:20 a.m. New York time. So not ideal. I wanted price to have come a little bit lower, but let me just explain this quickly for you guys. So if you were watching or if you looked at the analysis I sent out last night, you would have noticed that there was two areas of interest to me. One was the H1 FEG, which was sitting in this area. You can call it 48,500 area. And the next would have been the daily SIBI up above in this area here, 48,800 area. So we've obviously had a raid. You can see Friday's candle ran into that volume imbalance, right? If you look at the 4 hour, this was a 4 hour volume imbalance, which was not filled beneath this wick. So there is still an opening, there's still a bit of a gap beneath this wick, and which was then filled on Friday, and by doing so had rated that low, right? So we've had a sweep on sell side. Our next delivery should be into obviously, firstly, Friday's high, and then secondly, into the daily SIBI, which is up above. If price fails to reject this area, then I'm confident in saying that we're going to inverse this area and then potentially run up into that buy side target up above. So this would have been, I think it's the last week of, or the second last week of December. That was the high. So that's a weekly high as well as the high that's sitting from the week prior. So there's two sets of buy side that you can potentially watch as potential drawn liquidities. Only if we do manage to inverse this daily SIBI, which I do think is the more likely scenario considering what's been going on. Again, higher low to this low. We've been following strong bullish structure throughout. So potentially we following price as it stands. If we reject off the SIBI and you see that daily candle tap in, close beneath the SIBI, which means it's obviously respecting this area, then I would look for potential shorts from this very same area back into these targets down here, which would be um, your sell side targets. Firstly, your nearest low, which is this one. Next would be this low, and then obviously draw into this area that I've got marked down below, which is our daily FEG. There is an inverse FEG within that as well. I've also graded that FEG, so we've got 50% marked out, which lines up with the inverse FEG. So that is a potential area for me to look out for. But yeah, long term, that would be what I'd be looking at. If I drop down to 4 and the likes, I didn't want to see this happening. I didn't want to see this H4 obviously tap in here and then obviously reverse. I wanted to see us draw into that H1. So as it stands, it's looking like this could potentially run up without us today, and that's fine. We're going to be patient. We're going to wait. This was the H4 that I was talking about. You can see we had the wick down here, and we didn't quite close, or we did quite, I think, close it here. No, so there was a little bit that wasn't closed. If you look closely, there's the area that was not closed, spiked back into that area, took out sell side, and then obviously reversed. You can see we had the 1 hour high sitting up above in this area. So if you look at the 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, those did give us a shift. As you can see, we had low, high, ran the low, ran the high, expected that pullback, which just didn't happen. And you can see prices already running up from here. So a bit of a tough one. It's hit that H4 FPG and has already gone up. And yeah, it's going to be one of those where if we do get in, we're going to have to be aggressive and hop in this. But definitely do see a move up. It's just a pity that obviously it didn't draw into the point of interest. So as it stands right now, I'm currently waiting for a little bit closer to the open. It's left behind a few FVGs. Well, one here. This one is yet to be formed, potentially in the next 40 seconds. But yeah, we're going to watch what happens here. If it leaves a convincing one for us, we could potentially get in on a bit of a higher risk sort of trade. There are a few minor conferences like Asian lows which have been taken. You can see here, here. London lows were here at this area. So Asia, London, we've traded lower, taken out the Asia. We do have a 5 minute shift now. This candle closes up above. So that would count as a shift. Potentially might see that pullback and then a move up thereof. So yeah, that's my take currently, guys. Mohammed says, nice breakdown, thanks. No worries. It's just a pity that prices already left without coming into this area. So there was a set of liquidity that I was watching down here. That would have been pretty much my A plus area to get in on. I just don't like what it's done now because it's still early outside of the New York session. But it is what it is. You can see we had a tap on the 5 minute down here, just sitting in that area. Potentially could see another run or pull back into one of these areas, hopefully. We had a bit of a breaker here as well. So if you're looking at it, we've got a breaker sitting down here. So if we do get that, that's what I'd be watching out for. Guys are quiet in the chat. What's happening, guys? How's your holidays? You guys back on the charts full force now or partially back? Any thoughts on what's going to happen with gold? Gold's most likely going to continue rising. Remember, gold does become a safe haven asset, especially in times of geopolitical tensions. So obviously with Trump invading Venezuela and capturing their dictator or leader. There's a lot of, or should say it should come across as tensions with regards to that. So obviously in times of uncertainty like that, assets like gold, silver, they tend to become, and more so gold, they tend to become safe haven assets. So yeah, any courses available? So yeah, we do have courses available. Just hit DM us. We'll get back to you. Almaz says back full force, milk it with Shaq this year. I want to start taking trading up full time. Yeah, hopefully you do. It's nothing stopping you. It's nothing stopping you. Yo, I see this thing's really pushing at the moment, eh? Ish, that is wild. Let's have a quick look at oh, yo, wow, S&P as well, Nasdaq as well. What's going on with Nas? Yeah, so Nas wants to invert that H4 FEG, which was a point of interest that I had marked out last night. There you go. So if Nasdaq inverses this FEG, which is most likely what's going to happen, then we're going to see a continuation all the way up into buy side at 26,700 area. But I'm a bit bummed that US 30 is like flying. Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. Hasn't even given any pullback on this run, guys. So that's not good. So you can see a bit of a clear shift. We have broken out now of this consolidation, which took place pretty much Friday afternoon to now. So we had a bit of a consolidation, liquidated the Asian lows. Hopefully, we get a pullback, um, potentially into this area. I'm going to set an alert at that area um, because I want to see what happens there. This is definitely a high risk trade today, guys. Definitely a high risk, considering the fact that it hasn't run this low, which was a low that I had wanted price to get to. That would have been a plus. Hit the H1 M15, but we'll see. We'll see. Still about 25 minutes more. Mariam says, what do you suggest is a good capital for a beginner when trading US 30? So it depends. I would say a good amount to start with should be between 5 to 10,000. And why I'm saying that is because if you use that on maybe like a micro account, or even if you use it on a normal account, but if you use the correct lot sizes, like if you stick to point tens or point zero fives, um, you can really sort of manage that account properly in terms of percentage wise. So set yourself like a daily target, whether it's 5% per day, 10%, whatever the case is. So if you're risking 5%, you must be making 10%. It gives you a good enough chance to obviously grow the account. Even if you're not doing 5 or 10%, and you're sticking to like the 2%, 3% type of thing. Um, it might be small initially, but if you look at it, your job as a trader, especially in your early days, is to gather consistency. You're not chasing profit, you're chasing consistency. So yeah, I would say 5 to 10,000 would be a bit of a decent start. But then again, don't over leverage, stick to a set risk per trade, and more importantly, same lot sizes throughout. So I see we've had a bit of a pullback here. A bit of a pullback. Wonder, wonder. Yeah. So ideally, I want to see price sort of get into this area. There's for that 15 minutes that's there. You can look at that. There's a potential area. There's a breaker there. So there's a few confluences in that area. Um, but yeah, let's see what happens there. So what's the difference between a micro and a normal? So it's basically a micro is it's the same account, but the leverages are different. So even if you use a normal account, all you need to do is set your leverage to like a 1:100 or a 1:200, as opposed to a 1:500 or a 1:1,000. Um, so yeah, even if you use a 1:1,000, let's say you're on HFM, for example, and you use a 1:1,000 normal account, standard account, um, you can still trade with the same sort of micro parameters uh, just by lowering your lot size. So if you stick to 0.01, 0.02s, or 0.05s, those are relatively low lots. Feeling a bit miserable, guys. My nose and throat stuffed up. So I see Nasdaq gapped up last night, eh? Hasn't closed the gap. I just want to make sure that US 30, yeah, so US 30 gapped up and then obviously closed it. Okay. And that, and then ES, what did ES do? ES gapped or not? Yeah, well, so ES gapped and then closed it as well. So it's just Nasdaq that hasn't closed its gap. Um, Gold looking good for another run up, taking out some liquidity. Asian lows. Asian lows taken on gold, well, some Asian lows, these two. So yeah, definitely another run up on gold. Okay, so US 30 has just closed, leaving its second FEG, I guess. Third. Oh no, sorry, second. So it's confirmed the second. So that's the first one. The second one on the 15 minute. So at this point, I just want to see a convincing pullback into at least that middle one. And then we can target something like from potentially somewhere here into that daily SIBI above and possibly even 50% of that. Let's see what happens. What happens? Can actually set aside. Remember, so this would not be our A plus setup. And I'm saying that because obviously price has already run up without coming to the original point of interest below, right? So you can consider this a setup or a B setup, or but not our A plus. So secondary sort of setup. This would have been the ideal area down there. Ooh. So I'm gonna put one on the 1 minute time frame, and we'll watch it like this. So a low there, low here. I'm gonna watch those two areas, and then here we're gonna see. Yo, this thing doesn't want to hear anything, guys. Fuck. It's not giving us anything. I'm not on mute, guys. You guys should be able to hear me. Let me know if you can't. Can you guys hear or is it muted? Okay, can you? Okay, cool. Sorry, I might be a bit soft, guys, because I'm not feeling the best. If she runs without giving us that pullback, guys, I'm not going to enter it. And the reason being is obviously this is not the A plus setup from this area. Well, the A plus would have been down beneath these lows here, which was the H1 FUG and M15. So seeing as price has missed that area, the next alternative for me is here in that M15 FUG. But if she runs up at this open without pulling back, then I'm not going to take it. Because yeah, it's not just not going to fulfill my criteria. Any books on trading recommendable to read? So a book to read would probably be Trading in the Zone. I don't know if you guys know that book. It's a good book. One of the only few I've spent time reading. But yeah, Trading in the Zone. That's what it's called. Oh, still showing reluctancy to move lower, guys. Check here. Still holding above. Doesn't want to break below. Oh. Mm-mm. Not liking this at all. Okay, got about 3 minutes 30 left. Some signs of a pullback. 30 seconds, guys. 30 seconds. Yo, no pullback. No pullback. Nothing, guys. Absolutely no pullback. Yo, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Ahmed saying, are we buying? We were supposed to be buying, but like I said, was not our A plus, and we were waiting for at least a pullback into that 15-minute FEG, which was also the breaker area down here. Didn't happen. So yeah, let it be, guys. Gotta let it be. Let's see what Nasdaq and S&P did. So Nasdaq's come a little bit down. S&P went up. S&P went up. Nasdaq went down. Yo, Nasdaq's still coming down. So a bit of a mix between the three. S&P and US 30 seem to be moving in sync and not Nasdaq. But it is what it is, guys. I mean, I had two areas marked out. The second also being, well, the first being our A plus, the second being a little bit of a higher risk area, and still nothing. So no trades taken for me today. You can see absolutely nothing. Slow day in the office. It's a slow day in the office, guys. It is what it is. Let's see. So that's actually gone through that SIBI now, eh? It'll be interesting to see what happens at this area. If price is actually going to reject it today or close beneath it. So the important thing to note here is obviously to watch to see whether we get a daily close um, that rejects this area or not here. So if we were to leave a wick here and close beneath, which I don't think is going to happen, as it stands, this thing wants to obviously rocket through these highs, but it hasn't given me the entry that I want. So tough one, but it's part of what we do. Gotta have patience, guys. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Whoever's drawing on the screen, Naz, please stop. Um, yeah, that's it from me. We will come back tomorrow. Yeah, see the guy saying would have been a banger. It would have, but high risk, guys. High risk, and it didn't exactly give me the pullback that I wanted, which is not ideal. So yeah, it is what it is. We will come back tomorrow and see what happens. There is some news at 5, so I'll still watch that. If there is a setup later, I'll send it out. But if not, then tomorrow. But yeah, take it easy, guys. We'll catch up tomorrow.